wrong with the microphone.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Hi, Björn. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. Not as fine as you are, obviously.
Yeah.
So if you need some sort of rehearsal check if everything works.
Yeah, just to see with the presentations, because
Yeah, let me share.
can you see if it works? And our presentation, I sent it to you. So
yeah, it works, right?
Perfect.
yeah, okay, great.
Right.
That works. Great.
Yeah.
We had two files. We have the presentation, and then I have the ebook from Tatiana.
All right. Yeah, I only have 2 slides.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because we said, only 5 minutes for both of us, and then Marlon is doing are we doing it a bit together? It's just showing some examples,
Right.
So how's the weather in Stockholm?
The weather is fine, I think.
Okay. But still, you don't have your summer haircut.
No, the summer haircut is not warm enough.
Okay.
I have to go to the continent to get that, I think.
Okay. So what about Germany? Will you come to Germany or no?
I don't think I'll be able to come. I'd love to, and actually I started to look into tickets, but Weinigel doesn't have an international airport, so,
okay.
So it wasn't immediately. I wasn't immediately sure how to get there and back.
Yeah, and it's really it's in the middle of nowhere, so it's really difficult. I'm coming by train, and I have to change trains. Only once in France, but then like 4 times in Germany to get there.
But that would be. I mean, that's really nice to go somewhere that you usually you wouldn't get there probably.
Yeah, and it's really a touristic place in Germany. I haven't been there, although it's really close to my parents' place, but it was in Eastern Germany, So I hadn't had the chance to get there. But it's you have these very nice old houses, etc. So that's really nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We can leave it open. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then, yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. And then you go to the guide. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We will see if we might need, because for my computer, I needed to show the videos, you needed to push on control. Okay, just a second, Björn. So, yeah, it doesn't work. So just, we said for my case, it was like control. Attends, parce que là, c'est ici en ligne sur le problème, c'est que là, tu vois, il a ouvert ça. On va l'ouvrir pour un. No, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, but the only point is that now. No, it's okay. Just trying to. It works. No, just hoping that it will work. Le mieux, c'est regarde là, parce que là, pour notre table, ça fait mieux comme ça, il est déjà chargé. Non, mais c'est déjà chargé. Oui, c'est ça. Et là, c'est quoi, échappe? Changer. Right. Okay.
So do the films work?
Yeah,
with
it works.
The sound, everything is
okay? We just need some time, so we just open. Non, je veux aller à la présentation. Here's one video too. Why is it? Same as the other one.
Doesn't matter because we had the video now.
Jest jeszcze więcej tam.
We can explain, we have to play.
Yeah, but
Many people had the video and they also lie in the other field. Doesn't matter if not here.
it's not nice, no?
O,
I need this.
Another one. It's what you do, etc. So it's not the same.
And the last is the last, synthesia. Generally, the genetic.
Anyway, regarde ça. Non, mais là, c'est un lien, c'est pas ce
Oui, mais tu peux qu'on peut, ça peut être trouvé.
Ah,
ale nie będzie tego. To... A to będzie wolniej albo
De toute façon, on va pas aller en détail.
et quoi?
Ah, non,
Si, c'est un autre. Je l'ai fait, attends, je le sais.
mais ça, c'est en espagnol aussi.
C'est pas grave.
Regarde.
Alors, il est où là?
1, 2, 3.
Mais le.
Je vais chercher.
Voilà. Ah si. Okay.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, it works. Take some time. That is why we.
All right. You know how to operate Zoom, so
Yeah.
here you can just make it bigger.
Okay, you ready, Björn?
So that Ella just.
Yeah, okay. And I just give some explanation about us.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a second.
Sorry, do you have a laptop there?
Yes.
I would be really nice to see the room where we're in,
Yeah.
if possible.
Impossible. Yeah.
No, okay, it's not possible.
Or maybe I can connect to the Zoom link with my computer and turn it around.
Yeah, so
Do you?
do it that way.
I don't have the link soon.
No. So let me just.
It just feels very strange to talk.
Yeah, no, sure.
I have no idea about what the
Understand.
room looks like, if there is anyone there or not.
We are.
Nobody there. Only
I can't hear you.
I don't dare to turn it around because there are a lot of cables. It's
Yeah.
on, yes.
So-
But
Yeah, well, never
my
mind.
computer, you can see us.
Yeah.
Cell phone, you know?
Tak jest. I żeby Bjorn nas słyszał, to trzeba do mikrofonu mówić.
The microphone, okay. Mhm.
No? No Zoom link?
So what's up?
Okay, you send it by
Mhm.
mail or what?
Yes.
Okay, so you can start, I think.
Okay.
Bjorn.
So welcome again after our short break. And now just a few words about Katja. I think most of us know her as our project coordinator, but just a few more words. She's a trained environmental engineer, but has worked for more than 15 years as a German teacher in several engineering schools. She developed with a colleague 2 platforms for blended learning for IMT Minds Albi and integrates many ICT tools in her courses. She was also a moderator for the flipped learning module within the Electronic Village online training organized every year by the American TESOL, where she promotes empowerment of students and autonomous learning of students. She also offers intercultural training to companies, especially in the German-French context. She's also an eTwinning ambassador and works actively with the National Support Service for eTwinning in France. She led multiple eTwinning projects, which have been rewarded with several prizes. And since more and more schools start with eTwinning and move on to Erasmus Plus projects, for this reason, Katja became an Erasmus Plus developer to be able to help school teachers establishing their project. And that will be just a short introduction, and we'll have Katja introducing her co-speakers today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a second, Björn, I turn my computer around so you can see everybody. Okay, just put that. Okay, so say hello to Björn. Far away in Stockholm. A lot of people there. You won't be able to see everybody. Oh, it's you can't see anybody because the background is. It's not okay. Okay, so now it should be easier now to see everybody. Yes. Okay. I will just choose one half of of the audience because it won't be possible to see everybody. Okay, just so I'm not alone. I'm sorry I didn't prepare a bio for the two others. First of all, here with me, Marlon Patiño. He's one of our Spanish teachers at IMT, and I'm also working in another university with him. He's from Colombia. And he also did studies on international cooperation in higher education and was my intern also. So that's how it came that we work together. And we really have a very nice cooperation. And I'm happy that we have different native speakers, different languages together working. And then we have, of course, Björn, that most of you know, works at KTH as Jamie. He is head of the language department, Chinese teacher, and very actively implicated also with what he is going to present, the catalog of critical incidences, and also in the management team with us for Batch. So one of the really, really active members of the Batch project. Did I forget something important, Björn? I should have said.
Well, you named me boss of the language department, and that might cause political problems for me when I get back home. I'm director of studies at the Department of Learning and Engineering Sciences.
Okay,
Thank
sorry.
you. That's quite enough for me.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we run a bit out of time, so we start immediately. So we would like to present you the IO7, which is global competence through IT and serious games. So we were a bit more also in this IO, but some dropped out, some were maybe more involved in other IOs. Those who involuntarily dropped out were our Russian partners, so we worked quite a lot with them, but then we had to get them out of the project, unfortunately, with the war, so they cannot work with us anymore. So it's not their fault of our very nice colleagues, but it's like this. So I will just really briefly present what we did together and what our colleagues in Russia also prepared already, because they were, of course, involved in the project. And then Marlon is going to talk about the serious game about intercultural competences we prepared. And Björn, before that, Björn will also talk about the catalog of critical incidences KTH prepared, and we used to put some of these critical incident situations in the serious game. Okay. So just rapidly about this kind of e-guide about tandem projects. Our colleague in Russia calls it a global conversation. So we have developed an e-guide. I will just quickly show it to you afterwards, which helps teachers put up a tandem project or even multinational project between schools, talking about global conversation or about developing intercultural competences. So you see here, this is one of the test groups. We had 4 different nationalities. We had French students, Greek, Croatian and Russian students, and they worked together in a group about these different points I will talk about. But before we went to the project, we did a pre-survey because we wanted to know how strong were their intercultural competences before they started to talk together. Some had, of course, really important international experience already. Others didn't have any, never talked to anybody outside their country. It happened, never traveled outside their country. So really astonishing. And so it was really interesting to see what were their level of entrance into the project. And afterwards, of course, we did a post-survey where they had to describe their experience. And this is really important. I myself do quite a lot of projects, and not often I do a pre-survey, but I think it's really important. We always do post-surveys to see how did it go, did you like it, and what could be better. But to have the pre and the post-survey is really important, and we describe that in detail in the e-guide. And then usually the students choose critical incidences they want to talk about. have a look at it from the different points of view, different perspectives in their country, discuss about it, how they see it. Is it for the critical incidents or is it just normal for them? They meet usually in the group, but usually also at least once with a teacher to explain the project and to get into it. Because otherwise, sometimes if you don't do this first meeting, they just are used to text, so they won't maybe meet. And we want them really to talk, not only to exchange by WhatsApp. It's not really the same experience. And then also we put into place some topics. We ask them in usually 3 or 4 different meetings to talk about and to make some reports about these outcomes of the project. So this means that they talk about sometimes political topics also. They talk about critical incidences. They talk about their countries. And in the end, they have kind of, really interesting intercultural experience. So that's sometimes we ask them also to make some storyboards, but this is kind of extra work. But usually it's 3 to 4 maximum video conference we ask them to do before sending a report to us where they describe their intercultural competence experience. And this is really important also to have this individual feedback, not only as a group, but also individuals, because this is really where they reflect about it. Because sometimes they say, I didn't really learn a lot because I traveled already. And when they reflect on it and write it down, then they discover, oh yeah, okay, I did learn something I didn't know. And even if it was like my students learned that in Greece, you have a meat day, which is really interesting for the vegans, where they try to eat as much meat as possible, so no, this is just an anecdote, but they always learn something for sure. Okay, and so this is about this e-guide. So it's almost 60 pages, I think. Just wanted to show you here. So you have this guide. Oops, sorry. You have this guide. And just a little message for everybody who is involved in Badge, please don't forget to put a Creative Commons license on your productions. We want people to share it, to use it, to translate it, but it's also important to protect our productions. So you have explanations for the teachers, you have the program, you have the surveys, what to put in the surveys. Of course, everybody can adapt it to their own context for sure, but at least you have a template you can use and then adapt it, okay? So a lot of explanations, but also a very practical guideline how to do it if you have never done a project. Maybe those who are here have done it already since I don't know how many years, so it's not really new for them. But some of our colleagues, they are only on contract, and so they have never done that. They don't have the time to investigate that, but they would like to do it. They would like to get in contact. I did it with my team at the school where I'm working. I contacted the universities and I helped them putting up a project. And then it was really nice for them, really for their professional development as a teacher too. So I think it's really interesting thing to do. So this is just the little guideline. But now Björn is going to tell you about the catalog we used for this project also to help students talk about critical incidences, and also we chose some of these situations because they have I think about 50 or 60 situations for the serious game we are going to explain afterwards. Okay, I stop sharing screen maybe. Oh no, yeah, okay. So you can share your screen now, Jan, if you want to.
Okay, and if I don't want to.
if you don't want to, you don't. You just talk.
Okay. Well, I don't see myself up on the screen now.
Oh, okay.
I'm not there, am I?
Yes, you are. Better like this?
Yeah, no, it's probably just the lightning. If you can see me behind you,
we can see you.
Then it's fine. So just very briefly, then this sort of low-tech product that we came up with, which I think still is very useful for many of us, and it's a catalog of critical incidents. And I guess that most of you, oh, now I can see myself and you. So critical incidents are social situations that stand out due to the unexpected way they unfolded or due to the unpredicted outcomes they resulted in. Typically, a critical incident is an encounter that leaves a person's experience at unexpectedly happy, angry, sad, or puzzled. And for us, it's important that critical incidents are opportunities for learning. And critical incidents reports have been used for more than 70 years, actually, in various disciplines as a way for self-reflection, awareness raising, and at least since the 1960s for intercultural learning. So what we did was we went out and asked students that had been on international mobility to and from a number of European universities in the second half of 2019 to report. We explained to them what an incident is, and we had a form for that they filled in online. So we collected some 130 incidents. Some of these were not really useful. A lot of them just told us how happy they were to be able to be abroad and how everything went well. And there wasn't really any detail that was sufficient for us to make a learning activity out of it. But we reviewed this and edit them, and then we compiled 30 cases, and we anonymized gender and nationality. And then sometimes, usually we also anonymized the country they were coming and going through. We have said it's a close country or it's a country on the other side of the world and so on. And so we ended up with 30 cases, each with 2 sets of questions. And I'll just show you one example of them. And these examples, we have been using them for the other IO7 products. But they can also be used, the catalog can be used and will be downloadable as a standalone thing to be used in language or communication classes. But it can also be used by international exchange coordinators. And I think that this is really good because usually we try to sell our students the idea that they should go on international mobility, how this will be a life-changing event and they will get friends for life and learn new things. And we seldom talk about the challenge that they actually often encounter. And in this way, we can prepare them for the challenges, but we can also prepare them for these challenges as being learning opportunities, so they can work more positively with them. And I should also add, before I show you the example, that the report form that we used is an appendix in this 35-page booklet that we will have on the website for downloading. So typically it would look like this, and I guess that it's probably not readable, and that's not the main point. But so this one is called Teamwork to Local Language versus English, and was talking about an international exchange student who felt, even though things were done in a mixed environment with local and international students, the student felt excluded a lot of times due to classmates talking in a local tongue. And then we have these 2 sets of open questions and alternative endings, where the open questions are more sort of from, with this incident as a background, what sort of general questions can we ask about that, and how should one behave, and how is it at your home university, etc. Whereas the alternative endings are more closely linked to this particular experience. How would you think that to do in this situation? Do you think that you would do this in this situation? And if not, why? And then you see there are 5 alternative endings that you can discuss. So the material can be used for sort of self-study. You could go through them here, but I think that the best use of them would be for small group conversations. And there are a lot of these, so a teacher can easily print out 5 or 6 of them and have people rotate and discuss various scenarios. And for language teachers, this could be a way of integrating then intercultural competence training with language training, and to also improve their proficiency in talking about these things. So that's it for me. Thank you.
much, Björn. And I think it's really important what Björn, microphone, yeah. It's really important what Björn said, that we create this awareness. I think our IO is really centered on that, not creating stereotypes or biases, and the critical incidences catalog helps students discuss it in these open questions, and not saying this is wrong or this is right, but really create awareness for intercultural situations. Okay, so we are going back to the presentation. So as we said, we have two different outputs. Is first of all what we presented, and then afterwards we also have started a serious game. We had a little problem with this because the partners from Russia were supposed to code the game. So as they dropped out, we had to find a solution ourselves, as we were a bit alone on that. So what we use is this scenario we wrote for 3 different stories. You will talk about it. And then we integrated videos from text to video software, which uses artificial intelligence. So we will show you some examples. Okay, so Marlon is going to talk about it.
So we can say that in the language lesson, it's very important to have not just a grammar content, but also another topic to explain as intercultural, for example, intercultural skills, and also it's important to think about the student experience. So to create a little bit empathy with them, because with a serious game, it would need to be ludic, and also we need to teach something. So with the critical incidents, and also when with the experience with the global conversation, we start to create a serious game about intercultural approach. And as Katya said, the goal is not to reinforce the stereotype, but to be open with the other culture. For that, it's important that the situation have been created by students, so they can feel that it's a real thing, and that could be better for them to learn or to be interested on the intercultural file. And also, but because I am Spanish teacher, so I think it's a good tool for English teacher usually, but for example, for Spanish student or French or Deutsch, German, etc., is not. We don't have the same approach, or we don't have, even me, the same congress or sharing or practice. So if the goal of Erasmus Plus is to be European, it's not just by English but with other languages. So for that, we started to write in Spanish, German, and English, and yeah, we had this problem with Russian partners, because usually they should create the technical part of the serious game, but with our tools like Stitcher every day, we create that with application with artificial intelligence. So we would like to show some example. So in the serious game, there are 3 man's character, and the goal is to try to be close to the experienced student. So we have a transition between student life and working life, because they are going to work, and I don't know, 2 years after or whatever. So we have changes and a change parent life, and a student. We choose 3 characters, 2 women and 1 man. And we don't mention a lot the country of the participant, but we can give some clue in order to identify a little bit the culture, not the country, but maybe the behavioral culture. So in this first time, this is in Spanish, I think.
La arquitectura de la universidad me impresionó. Miré a mi alrededor y me di cuenta de que no conocía a nadie. Era un nuevo comienzo. Me sentí orgullosa de mí misma. En la primera clase había mucha gente y nadie notó mi presencia. Ese tipo de anonimato me dio confianza. Los cursos se impartían en inglés, que no era la lengua materna allí. Estaba contenta, era la primera vez que sentía un ambiente verdaderamente internacional. Además, tenía ganas de conocer a gente de todo el mundo y, por supuesto, a estudiantes locales.
So in the first time, if you don't speak Spanish, it's about an international exchange, and when the language is not English, so for example, Poland or another university, but the language, the EMI is in English. So, and as the critical incident that Beyond Us means said before, and after that we have some different videos, and the student need to choose between three or two options, and depending on the option, the story go for another history. So it's like in our life we need to take decision also. So we don't know if we take one decision, we don't know the other door, and with our decision we have already make it. And also we have in English and German. It's in English, in Spanish also. Oh. It's in Spanish.
Yeah, it's just about the decision making.
Yeah. So it's,
2 días después de la primera clase, me encontré con el responsable de Relaciones Internacionales en el pasillo. Esta noche vamos a organizar una fiesta con los estudiantes extranjeros. ¿Te gustaría venir? Me pregunta. ¿Qué debo hacer?
so the student who is playing this game need to choose, need to make decision, and after that, in a different context, for example, and in an international exchange, there are a lot of students from the world, in the entire world. So it could be have different critical incidents between them. And also in an internship, up. It's like that.
Hello, my name is Daniel. Let me share my first day of internship with you. I started early. At around 6 a.m., I was having a breakfast that was not really typical for me and which I'm not enjoying much. In the suburbs, where I will now be living for the rest of my internship, there is no bakery where I could buy freshly baked bread and enjoy the breakfast that I have been having with my family since I was a child. I feel annoyed that I can't stick to my usual habits and will have to get used to eating prepackaged sliced bread. To feel more awake and to know what has been happening lately, I turn on the TV to watch the local news.
So there are a lot other situation, and this serious game is a tool for the English lesson or language lesson, but with intercultural approach. And we can use also another talk about other author as Hofstede and Eri Meyer. And also, I mean, it's not just to use on the lesson, but you have another support behind that, and it's just to use and to say how it's possible to react it in critical incidents in the internship or in the working life. And for example, now it's in German.
So just to give you some more examples.
Heute ist der große Tag. Nach Abschluss meines Ingenieurstudiums werde ich endlich die richtige Arbeitswelt entdecken. Und noch dazu in einem Land, das ich bisher nur aus Besuchen kenne. Aber die Arbeitsmöglichkeiten für junge Ingenieure sind dort besser, die Gehälter auch. Einerseits bin ich glücklich, endlich anwenden zu können, was ich gelernt habe. Andererseits ist es schwer, alle Freunde, die ich in meiner Studienzeit kennengelernt habe, und das vertraute Umfeld der Uni zu verlassen.
Morgen um 8 Uhr muss ich bei meiner neuen Arbeitsstelle.
Okay, so it's just some examples, you know, and to give you an idea, so we had created the situations in English, Spanish, and German. But the advantage of this type of game, as we created it now, because we had to, is that you can just duplicate it and translate the text into another language. Choose your accent, like for the Spanish girl, we chose a Colombian accent because Marlon is from Colombia. You can choose whatever accent you want to. So just to not to have biases, you know, not to reinforce the stereotypes. And then you can just take the same script and have it in another language. So it will really be used then in the different languages you teach, whatever it is. Every of them you can translate it into English. And so we have 3 different stories, as we said, in this game. So of course we have a little intro where we're explaining the game, etc. Yeah. And then we have story 1, story 2, story 3, which you just saw, which is internship. The next one is, no, first one is exchange semester, then internship, and then first job abroad. And then you have also some open questions and also, are you ready to go now? You know, so it's not quite finished yet. We still have to add some scenes of the script we wrote, but this will be the final product. So you will have it. It's Genially. I don't know if you know this platform. It's for free. And you can use then the other platform for artificial intelligence to change and have new scenarios maybe, and also translate it to another language. And it's not a full course compared to IO1, for example, where you have a full course on Moodle. It's just like an entry to intercultural competences teaching, where you can start playing the game, maybe also tell the students, okay, you're not okay with the way you went, try another answer, see what happens then. So there's always 3 different possibilities you can go through. And then it goes to the open discussion. And this is really what we want to do, is that put the student into the situation of a foreign student, feel how they would feel, and then discuss about it, and maybe be more aware when they either meet foreign students or go abroad themselves. So this is about this game, which will of course be available for free on the platform too. Okay. So that's what we wanted to show you. So we have the different stories. Just go through it. Sorry, this is the game. And thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. Thank you, Björn, too.
Thank you.
Sue,
Happy
you couldn't
to be
see
here.
it, Björn, no? Because we didn't share the screen.
No, I couldn't see it, but
Sorry.
I heard you all right.
Yeah, okay. So it's, I don't know what, I would be interested to know also, what do you think of this artificial intelligence created videos? Because in the beginning I used just some, you know, like a comic, and I showed it to my son and said, come on, this is like a video game from the early 90s. So just don't do that. Okay, so I started over again. So I don't know if you think it's close enough to reality to be believed in or not. So this would be interesting for us.
Okay, well, I've just got to say it's very impressive, and I would be very interested in using it. I was just wondering, just the stories, you said the stories have choices to make. Are all the stories in that way? Do they all have the choices, and the choices lead to other choices? How far do you go with the choices? Because you could go on forever, couldn't you?
Yeah, this was a problem for us because you have limited choices after one choices. So to be more real for us in the working, usually we use different choices, but in the end it's a little bit the same or two different. So because yeah, it depends on the choice, but the life doesn't change a lot for one little choice. Yeah, because it's not. It's so hard to do.
You have 2 or 3 levels of then the path you can go, and then it comes to another situation and you start over again, because otherwise it would have branches like, you know, very wide. No, this is the scenarios. We have these internship, exchange semester, and new job. But then inside this blocks, or the scenarios, we have different situations that students go through. So it's like, I don't know, about maybe 10 situations for each story, you know, and then always different choices. But then when you have a new situation, so like him, it was the English guy. It was about the breakfast, then he comes to work and then it starts over again. You know, it's not a different situation at work, depending on what he chose for, I don't know, doing about his breakfast.
Yeah.
Sorry, otherwise beyond one.
Okay, so I remember as a child reading such books, and I really enjoyed the element of decision making, and that you didn't really know the next step and how the story would go. But I think it was very clever. So well done.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Yeah, and we thought also it would be nice to see that sometimes you take decision, you think it's the good one, and then it comes to a very bad situation afterwards because the others don't understand you. So that's why we chose this decision making.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea. I like it a lot. But these are the 30 scenarios from 130, or the 30 critical incidents that Bjorn mentioned. Are they incorporated into the videos?
Yeah, okay. Some are. So we got inspired, of course, by the catalog, but then we had, for example, the English scenario was written by Vilma, which is a PhD student in Lithuania at KTU. And of course, her experience as a student is quite close because she's still one as a PhD student. So we always also, all of us, I think, incorporated also situations we lived through, we experienced ourselves because we all live abroad. So it's not only the critical incidences catalog, but we try to incorporate them. We also try to incorporate some situations our own students mentioned or wrote down because we worked with them in class about these scenarios. We asked them to put up some storyboards about it. So it's a mix of different situations, but we try to stick to real life situations which really have happened.
Yeah, the follow-up was just about if they were taken from the beginning 2019, how likely are you to be doing what you've just said about kind of updating or adding additional to it?
Yeah, for us, it's really situations you live when you go to a country. We didn't really integrate virtual experiences of exchanges, so it's really going to another country. But there could be also a version of virtual meetings, and how do you live through this, and how can you encounter, of course, critical incidences while working remotely. We didn't do that, but could be a nice thing to do when we go further on.
Thank you very much, Katja, Bjorn, Marlon. Yes. Thank you. Again, very short technical break right now. We need to squeeze a little bit, and probably we're gonna start lunch a little bit later. So literally 2 minutes break for technical change, and then we will move on. Okay.
Thank you, Bjorn. Bye.
Thank you. Continue to have a good time. Talk later.